What's up, Metal Summoners? It is always so great to see you guys kicking off your weekend in the middle of the week, just the way we like it, hanging out on your island of misfit toys with myself and with Angel, and tuning in, supporting live music, and hanging out with us for another great episode of the Metal Summit. We really, really appreciate you guys, and we really, really appreciate as well you giving so much love and support to bands, to live music, keeping them out on the road, allowing them to record and put out new things for you. And before we jump into everything, and before we bring on our guests, myself and Angel actually want to take a moment to express our condolences, but also remember the good times, as today we lost a member of the rock and metal community, as well as an alumnus of this show, who was in our first 10 episodes, our 9th episode of the Metal Summit, in Carl Cochran, who a lot of you might know from the Ace Frehley band. But unfortunately, we lost Carl today due to an automobile accident. At least that's what's being reported on at the moment. So I do want to put that out there in respect, of course, to his family and to all of his fans, to make sure that, that we mention that, until we know things to be official, but that is what's being reported at the moment. But more importantly than that, we want to give so much love and support out to Carl, his friends, his family, his fans. He was such a great guy. Angel and I had such a good time talking to him. Very, very genuine. He was particularly close with our beloved co-host Psycho Steve, and we definitely wanted to take a moment to give our love, to give our affections, and just to remember the good times of everything that Carl gave us when it came to music, because he was such a great guy, genuine person with so many beloved fans that loved him, and so many family members as well, that looked out for him, through some strokes that he had and all of that stuff. But on behalf of the Metal Summit, to Carl Cochran, his family first and foremost, and then of course his fans, we love you, brother. Thank you so much for being on the show. We'll see you in another life, and we'll see you soon enough as well. But you take care, brother. And again, blessings and everything go out to his family. So thank you so much, Metal Summoners, for all your love and support and all the great messages that you guys have given to Carl and his family as well. But on a good note, when it comes to this, we're all about a positive show and everything like that. So we're going to bring in our good friends. We're going to bring in our guests. We've got As We Become Ghosts are live right now. We've got Mickey. We've got Johnny. First and foremost, gents, thank you guys so much for rocking out with us, and welcome to the Metal Summit.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, happy to have you guys as well. You guys are in contact with Angel, who's letting me know, is like, hey, I got us, as ghosts, as we become ghosts on the show for this day. I'm like, let's go. So again, guys, thank you so much for rocking out with us tonight. And so far, what can you tell us about 2025? How's it treating you guys?
It's cold.
It's cold.
It's cold. We started off great. I mean, it's funny. I ran into Angel. I met Angel for the first time backstage at the Landis Theater, where we were doing a show on January 25th. So we don't play many shows by design. We try and keep it to about 4 a year. For many reasons we may or may not get into later. But the Landis is just a phenomenal room just to see. And I met him backstage, introduced myself, and then we started talking. And I had to say, I probably forced myself on the show. Sorry, Angel, because as soon as he said, I have a show, I was like, Mickey, you want to do it? So, so thank you.
No, man, thank you. Pleasure is ours. Again, thank you to my coworker for getting my voice back, because I still sound a little bit iffy. But thank you to my coworker for the tea, whatever the hell.
By the way, he does great. He had his calendar out. He was forcing us into a date right there. He was like sketching it out. It was legit. So
no, absolutely no. We're very particular about that. Like all three of us, between me, Angel, and Steve, we're on top of everything. But Steve comes on when he's able to, because he looks out for his family first and concentrates on a lot of that stuff first and foremost. And so he kind of works behind the scenes now. But that's the one big thing with me and Angel is the calendar. So we both have things, because I'll look at dates that I see might be blank, but potentially might not be. So we'll message back and forth. But I do the exact same things when I run into bands or friends or both, and we start talking about the show and their availability. I do the exact same thing. I pull up the calendar and I'll be like, what do we have? And then I follow it up by being like, hey guys, this is what I'm looking to do for this date. Do we have anybody that I'm unaware of? Because I need to know now.
It worked out well. He smooth transition. So kudos, Angel.
No, thank you, man. Thank you for coming on.
And anyway, to finish the question, so it's been a good start for us, you know, with January 25th. Now that show's out of the way, we had this tradition. We'll take a couple weeks after a big show because we spend so much time prior to it rehearsing. So when it's over, we'll all, you know, take some time and breathe and figure out what's going on. But we had some music in the can before we went into the show. We brought those songs out live that night, and we're gonna finish tightening them up. Hopefully, get them recorded and get a new release out soon because it's been, Mickey, what, a year and a half maybe since our first release, our first CD release.
Yeah, it's almost been 2 years since we've really released anything new.
Yeah,
to the public at least. Yeah, recorded wise. Yeah.
So we're working on that, and I think our next show is April 19th, I believe. Where Mickey, you could probably go more into details with that because
he does a lot for Alex's Lemonade Stand. So it's going to be Rocking for a Cure over at the Berlin Brewery in Berlin, New Jersey. There's going to be 5 bands there, and we're going to be closing out the night. So it's a great cause, you know, great place. And the sound.
I think it's like Pistol Razor, right? I think Pistol Razor's going to play there. I think did I see Machines of Plenty on there, who I'm totally stoked to see.
Yeah, it's Machines of Penalty, Gutter Royal, and a couple other acts. Yeah.
Oh, nice. We're familiar with Machines of Penalty. They've been on with us.
Yeah, my buddy Mike Collins.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's who. Yep, that's who it was. It was Mike. Yep. No, that's awesome because like I've been familiar with you guys for quite a while. I've actually seen you guys perform quite a few times. The last time that I remember, because it's been a little while now, because obviously, you know, with the blackout and everything that threw everybody's calendars when it came to like live music into a flux. But I caught you guys on a show that you guys did with Roxy Blue.
Oh yeah.
And
Bar-
I wasn't there that night. I wasn't in the band till afterwards. So you called
right.
Mickey, which is just as good because if I wasn't in the band, I would be a fan of the band because their songs are just that they're that good. So
yeah, John joined right after that Roxy Blue show, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Oh, right on. But no, it was cool because like all of those, like, because the one thing I've always, you know, seen when it comes to, you know, of ghost shows is like, you know, very, very like stage driven, very, very much a show performance piece band, which I can absolutely always appreciate.
We probably obsess over that a little bit too much sometimes, which is, you know, like we've been playing the songs so long that most of the songs themselves are on muscle memory. So what we kind of just focus on is the show, having one thing flow to the next thing, try and minimize breaks as much as possible. We work in some, you know, we created an introductory track that we like to fire off to come on, and the show was kind of designed to build, you know, build. They put a lot of thought into it. You know, it's one of the things that attracted me to the band is the attention to detail. You know, really down to the minute. Like, what are we going to be doing at this minute? And then what's it going into? So it's good to hear that you picked up on that. You know, that's
yes.
It's a good thing.
Absolutely. Like Johnny, when it comes to joining, you know, in a pre-established band, how do you look at something like that? Because obviously there's got to be a certain thought process behind joining a pre-existing band. Like, do you feel the music? Do you enjoy the show that they put on? Do you feel that your voice is going to be heard when it comes to talking, collaborations, putting out new music and things like that? What if you don't mind me asking, what were some of the things that kind of ran through your head, even though you had said, you know, if you hadn't been in the band, you'd still be a fan of the band? Yeah. But those are still obviously conversations you have to have with yourself when you make that decision.
That's a great question. Seriously, that's a good question. It happened by accident because my background has been in cover bands for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I was in a cover band at the time. And ironically, the singer of my cover band shared Mickey's ad that they were looking for a drummer. right? Just shared it. And the first thing that caught my eye was the picture of the band, the visual aspect of the band. It kind of really fit into the way, that I think I look and I act. And then I clicked on the link and I play the first song and I'm like, that's a good song. That's a good song. Hit the next song and I'm like, this is a good fucking song too, right? And then I hit the third song and the third song's better than the first two songs. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, seriously. And not only that, it was my style. Like their music fit my style of drumming, and I remember turning to my wife and I'm like, I just want to go down and play these songs. So I sent him a message and I was just like, hey, my name's Johnny, I'm interested. As much as I would like to think I'm well known on the music circuit, I didn't know if he'd be like, oh, that's Johnny Callan from the cover band Flip. Let's grab him, And Mickey and I talked for about 20 minutes. And obviously the first thing you look for is weirdness in those conversations. You know what I mean? Is there sort of the awkward pauses? Is there you don't know how he's going to take a personality, but there was none of that. And he told me what they were looking for, what their vision was. I told him what I was looking for. I still do cover bands, so I still have that outlet. So, the number of times they played a year appealed to me. The music fit my style. We set up an audition. I went down to the audition, and I'm going to toot my own horn here. I crushed that shit because I spent so much time learning the songs because they were so good. Like I loved playing them, So I went in there, I knew the songs inside and out. I didn't worry about that. So at that point, it becomes what you were leading into. Okay, I love their music. I love they have a dedicated practice space. They don't seem like they're gonna, stab me to death and kill me or murder me. They seem like that. How do we mesh together playing, and can I establish a relationship? Because to me, a band is much more about feeling like I'm part of a family or a tribe, as we kind of like to say. I don't like to be in those bands that rotate members every 3 months and that,
Sure.
you got a substitute member for this show and something else. So I've been in the band over 3 years. We have not had one disagreement or fight or argument. And if you know anything about band drama, that's an amazing feat in itself, because being in a band with personalities is one of the biggest challenges. That's why they don't really succeed more for a long period of time. Like you don't see many bands together for a long period of time. And then, once I learned the material that they already had, we started writing some new songs together, and we came out with the lead single off the CD. It was called I Believe, which I believe was the first song that I actually contributed into the writing process with you guys on that. And then Kingdom of Two, and then we went in and we recorded them, and it just, we practiced every Wednesday. Everybody had the same dedication. The practices served a purpose. It wasn't just to go in there and play the songs, because it was to pick apart a segment of a song. Even if it's a 4-measure bar, pick that apart, down to the last minute detail. And me being a math teacher and a very logical person, that fits with how, I want to operate. So it's been, as I listen to me answer this question, it's been kind of remarkable how easy it's been to be in this band, and not only that, how much they accepted me, but how much their people that follow the band also accepted me. I can't tell you the number of Facebook friends requests I got after it announced I was in the band was stunning, from people you don't even know. I mean, you see the profile picture and you're like, all right, whatever. Yeah, I'm going to, because I know they follow the band. And it was the perfect transition. My only complaint, and I tease them about this all the time, is I auditioned and then they made me wait 2 weeks. They made me wait 2 weeks because they had to check out these other people, and then they came back to me, but it was a 2-week process where I had to wait.
They made you sweat.
After Johnny tried out, we knew we wanted him immediately. You know, I mean, like our jaws were on the floor after this. He came in and taught us how to play our songs, you know, for real. They never sounded more solid or more together. And he's like, hey, can we do that again and let me play that to a click for you guys? And we're like, yeah, like that's really, really what we had wanted, you know, is somebody that could like play to a click and, you know, just completely conduct from back there, you know, and that's what Johnny does. He keeps this train rolling right along, you know. But we did tell this other guy that we were going to audition him, so we thought we had like just be men of our word and like let this guy audition, even though we already knew we were going to tell that guy no. And thank God he came in and he was so terrible that we didn't have to have any choice. You know, there was no hard decision here at all.
Oh wow!
But
And then in the meantime, between those 2 weeks, I would take recordings of me learning some more of their songs, and I would send them to him, and I'd be like, you know, I was like, oh, you know, I went ahead and learned, you know, this. They were holding out a gem for me, and I don't know if you're familiar with the song, but Mickey wrote a song called "This Moment," and the guitar work in particular is stunning in that song. I mean, Alex just crushes it, and it was like the 5th song that he released to me, and I'm like, why didn't you give me this first? You know, like that was the one. And so I would start learning that while I was waiting to hear, and I would just send them clips of me playing along to their tracks, just to keep me in his head. You know, I wanted to rent some space in his head because you don't know. You want the gig, but you don't know. Let's face it, there are so many more musicians today that are better than there were when I was first starting instruments. I mean, social media and YouTube and ways that they can learn and practice and get better have just raised the bar on some of these, you know, 13-year-old guitar prodigies that are around there, or drummers. So there's tons of great musicians out there. It's not that difficult anymore to find a great player for your band. You know,
it is. It's still extremely, extremely hard. You know, we struck gold when we got Johnny. I'll tell you that right now. You know, everybody here knows the process of trying people out and going through that whole shit, you know, system. It's terrible, man. It's terrible. Wait, first of all, I can't switch on and off here to like comment on people that they're incompetent. But Ken Shepard, we love you, brother. I see you were chiming in there. And you're right. Band drama is way better than chick drama. But yeah, but we struck gold when we got Johnny in this band. I mean, he's exactly what we needed, and like it catapulted this band to such a higher level the moment that he was with us. So, you know, I couldn't wait. I mean, I was chomping at the bit to call him for that whole 2 weeks to say, dude, you got the gig. You know what I mean? But we just had to.
That's all right, Mickey. Your bass player sent me messages behind the back saying, "Yeah, don't worry about it. I can't see how you're not." Yeah, Stefan was secretly messaging me. You know, which is pretty cool. You know, but all that being said, it's 3 guys that I look forward to practice still. You know, I look forward to going to practice, and that's a rarity too. And I have mad respect for all of them as musicians and as people, you know, so it makes it easier. It definitely makes it easier.
They only had you wait 2 weeks, Johnny, so that Mickey could complete the background check on you.
Yeah, well, it would take a lot longer than 2 weeks to complete that, but you know,
I was actually taking that 2 weeks to scrub all my social media so he couldn't do a background check on me. You were deleting.
We
didn't want to lose them.
You were deleting your Google history.
Yeah. We didn't want to lose them.
Hey, I just wanted to be in a band where the lead singer's name is Mickey Rat. I mean, come on, that's just badass, right? I'm Johnny.
Sure.
You know.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Mickey, let me steer it over to you real quick for this question before I kick it up to Angel. Give us, and the Metal Summoners and anybody who's learning about Ghost for the first time, to give us a little history lesson on the formation of the band and where the name came from.
Well, let's start with the name. The name is where it all started from. I had played music for a really, really long time. Talk about it. I took like maybe 18, 20-year hiatus, and started getting back into it a little bit. And it struck me the As We Become Ghosts thing. As We Become Ghosts is all encompassing. It really can mean anything. Us as a society, becoming ghosts. Social media has turned us into ghosts socially. We're not really present in the moment. We're just like a second, a moment in time. Clips on the internet anymore, right? Politically, we've been divided. Drug epidemics, fentanyl has taken away so many people. Like As We Become Ghosts is something like about all that. You could be in a relationship with somebody who you thought was your soulmate, and the next minute you're a perfect stranger to them, a ghost. It's so encompassing. So with that, we try to write music that has uplifting spiritual message to it. So it's a complete contradiction of the name itself. So that's why we wanted people to be intrigued by the name and then say, wow, this is not what I was expecting at all. A lot of people see the name and I think they don't give us a chance. They think we're going to be too heavy, or they see our look and the name together and they already go, I know what these guys are all about. But it's funny. We played a gig a long time ago, and this guy saw us setting up and saw the banner go up, and he saw all of us all dressed in like black jeans and black t-shirts, and he's like, I don't think these guys are for me. And we came into our first song that night, which is Trapped in the Echoes, extremely melodic 80s, and this dude just sat right back down in his chair and came up to us after the show and just said, man, you guys just completely blew my mind. I thought you were going to be something completely different, and you guys were so up my alley that like I didn't move from that first riff until the end. And I was like, wow. And he goes, complete contradiction of what I thought you guys were going to be. And I was like, that's awesome. So that's where the concept came from, is just to write good rock and roll that has a retro kind of feel, but fresh, like I just didn't want to come out and write stuff that like everybody else is writing, or I didn't want to be cookie cutter new metal, or I just wanted to write whatever I felt. And that's what it came down to, is like, I don't even care if it's rock. I don't care what you categorize it. Do you like the song? Cool. Listen to it. You put it in whatever category you want to put it in, and we get so many different people telling us different things and saying, this is the influence I hear when I listen to you guys. And it's somebody different every time I hear it. And that's really cool to me. The formation is Stefan came along first, the bass player, and we had gotten together, and I was cutting all the guitar tracks in the studio, and I am no lead guitar player, but I was like tongue out, just trying to get through some solos and stuff. And I held out for a guitarist for 2 years. I had lots of guys come to me, really good, talented dudes, man, but they were overqualified for what I was looking for. I wasn't looking for a shredder. I was looking for somebody who could play melodic guitar, and like a good melodic guitar solo to me, man, is like a whole song within a song. It's a whole story by itself, from start to finish, a well-crafted guitar solo. And Alex came into the band by the way of, he came to me looking for a tattoo, and said one of his buddies recommended me. And I was like, all right, cool. What are you looking for? And he's like, I want a full sleeve of like skulls and roses. I'm like, that shit is right up my alley, And I said, is there anything on your arm already that like I got to work around or we got to cover up? And he goes, no, well, I have this. And he pulls his sleeve up, and from his elbow to his shoulder, it's Randy Rhoads playing a Flying V. And I said, so you're a guitar player, or you just really like Randy Rhoads? And he goes, no, I play guitar. I said, how old are you? He's like, 25. And I said, and Randy Rhoads is your dude? And he goes, I can play anything that Randy Rhoads ever played. I said, I have to play you something. We didn't even talk about his tattoo for the rest of the day. As a matter of fact, till this very day, his tattoo is still not even finished. All right? They're just half-started tattoos, man. And within days, he sends me a guitar solo to our song Overcome, and it's still the guitar solo that's in that song, till today. And it was just, he just blew me away. So that's how Alex got into the band. So we were recording at the moment over at my buddy's studio, Drowning Fish Studio, over at Jason Dunkerley's studio in Philadelphia. And Jason had played some drum tracks on that for us. And I came in and I said, we got to re-record all the guitar tracks. I just found a guitar player. So, we that's where we all started. And then we had a gentleman named Phil in the band. Phil Wax was playing drums for us for a while. Phil Wax is a very good drummer and he's a very dear friend of ours, but we just needed somebody that was going to bring us to that next level. And we were looking for somebody that could know the songs inside out, like without us playing along, like just knew their parts and could do that night after night after night. Play to a click track, keep us on track. If we record a song at 93 beats per minute, we play it 93 beats per minute. We can play that song verbatim and sync up to our CD exactly. So, I mean, I think that's very, very important. A lot of very big acts do that. We played all of us on different occasions. If it's a headlining show, we all have a click track in our ear, and we're playing with a split system where we have in-ear monitors and we're all playing to a click track. Some shows we just have to jump up there and fly by the seat of our pants, and Johnny runs the whole show. Johnny plays click track, he counts us. So no matter what, we can get up there and sound consistently good every night. We're not playing too fast because we got too much adrenaline going. We're not playing too slow. If we write a song and it has a groove, it's that groove counts and it matters because of the tempo we put that song at. And Johnny can nail it every time.
We argue over a 1 BPM change, like literally, like
193 or 192.
And then we'll do it both ways. We'll go back and forth, and and it all goes back to those little things for me, like that attention to detail, because there's a huge difference between 1 BPM, especially if it's a song that you want to have some kind of groove to it. Now, the majority of Mickey's songs, they sit in that 90 to 120 range, so there's not many very high. I think the quickest song we do is like 143 BPMs, so it's not speed, and melodies is what he's saying. And when he's talking about Alex, I would just like to add, Mickey's spot on it. Alex is not a shredder, but every note that Alex plays serves a purpose. It's there for a reason. It's thought out. It is thought out and put there for a reason. And it's the solo. I always say you hear that haunting solo by Guns N' Roses on a song like Estranged, like that. It's just that's the kind of guitar that I love. Now, would I listen to Yngwie and will I tell you he's amazing? And absolutely. But that doesn't have a whole lot of feeling to me. It's just a bunch of very fast notes and it's impressive, but it doesn't sound real. Alex's solos are there for a reason. It's impressive. It really is impressive. It just goes to show you, because individually, the four of us would not be considered stellar musicians in our craft. But collectively,
correct.
That's
what I was just going to say.
And what makes it that way, but then Mickey adds to it well-written songs. And I'm not just talking about notes. I'm talking about structure, how the song is structured, or, the lyrics, the lyrics, you can listen to a lyric and think it's about one thing when it's completely about something else. And it all goes back to his thing about making people think and interpretation. How do you interpret it? I don't have those skills. I'm not a poet. I do not write. I do not keep a journal. That's not my strong point. That's his, and sickeningly so. Like he's very good at it. The problem with most people like that is it's motivation and encouragement. He has to have something to write about for it to come out. He's not just going to put something out. Which reminds me, Mickey, you still got to finish lyrics but that's okay. I won't put any pressure on you. But it's like when it hits him, it'll just get thrown up and it'll be there. So you got to kind of just sit back and wait for that moment to hit them, because when it does, it's gonna be good. Definitely
Yeah.
gonna be good.
When we're talking about real quick, just to piggyback on that, that's where I was going with it. As a guitar player, you know, I'm not that great of a guitar player. As a singer, I'm actually not that great of a singer. As any instrument that I play, I can pick it up and make it sound good, and I can write something, right? But individually, this whole band, every member of this band brings something to the table, right? But we play for the song. That's the biggest thing. We do not try to shine out as individuals and outshine each other and who's the best drummer, who's the best guy in the band. It's just about playing for the song. All of us have a simplistic role, and when it all comes together as four, it creates a beautiful song. And that's what it has to be about, man. You know what I mean? It can't be about like over flashy and this and that. You know, each element is just simplistic, but all together it's one, you know, and that's the amazing thing.
Absolutely. 100% for sure.
Songwriting
Actually, shout out to Alex who popped up on YouTube. What's up, brother?
Oh, Alex has been working insane hours at work with all the weather and what his job that he's doing. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's still awake. Hey, Alex, miss you,
So-
brother.
The thing is the project started out with me writing some songs, you know. Alex came along, you know, me and Alex really write well together, you know, and a couple of those songs, you know, Alex was the main role. Like I remember early on, he was coming over to my apartment, and, you know, and I was trying to teach him teach him the songs that we had and all already kind of recorded. And he was like tuning up, and he started playing this riff, and I'm like, what's that? And he's like, oh, it's just something I was goofing with last night. I'm like, all right, play it. I said, you have anything else for it? He goes, well, I kind of have this part here. And I'm like, screw it, man. We're working on your song tonight. You know what I mean? And that turned out to be Trapped in the Echoes. And I heard all my melodies and everything immediately, you know, but like, and that's what happens. Alex and I can get together and just start riffing and throwing some stuff on tape. And that's how the songs, the newer songs, you know, have been being created, mostly in that sense. So, you know, we all work together extremely well. Then once we have like a rough of the song, we bring it to, you know, to Stefan and Johnny, and those guys start throwing in, you know, they put their skin in the game, and we start hashing it out, you know. And I have things a certain way, you know, and I hear things a certain way in my head, and Johnny knows this better than anybody, you know, and we
Phil
fight
Rudd.
each other
Phil
tooth and
Rudd
nail,
that.
and he goes,
Just
"I'm gonna
Phil
do it
Rudd
this
that
way,"
shit.
and I'm like, all right, but then I listen to the tape back, you know, the next day, and I go, that's how it needs to be, man. Like, it's totally way better than what I heard in my head, and you know, I can fight myself sometimes. So
For sure. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Angel, my brother, let's kick it up to you for a bit, my guy.
One thing that gets me about this band was just how laid back you guys were, like backstage at the show. And Mickey, you have the coolest fucking guitar.
oh, thanks.
I wanted to play it so bad, but I was like,
Oh, dude, you could have grabbed it up.
well, I like to be respectful of, you know, instruments. But man, badass guitar.
Thank
You know,
you.
Alex
Hagstrom.
has a Hagstrom too, but he didn't bring it that night. So I think you were the only one. You're the only one that had it.
Yeah, they're called Hagstrom Phantom Men. Believe it or not, and it's cheesy to say, I didn't even know this when I got the guitar, but they were created for the band Ghost.
Oh,
So Ghost was touring with these Phantom Men guitars, and I had no clue what a freaking Hagstrom was, and they've been around since like the 70s. And they created this as like their signature guitar that like all their guitar players and you know would use. And so I'm like, oh, that's ironic, you know, that we're called As We Become Ghosts and we're playing Hagstrom guitars, Hagstrom Phantom Men, you know. So yeah, but they're really cool guitars, man. I best guitar I've ever played, feeling wise for me. Picked it up and it just changed my game. So
I didn't know you play, Angel. Did you play? You play?
No, I don't. I just admire instruments.
well, next time I see
You should have admired my drums, not the guitar. Admire the drums.
I'm actually a drummer too, so. Oh, but damn, I forgot what the question was. Oh, and I had the same impression about the band. I was like, this is gonna be dark, goth. And then when I saw you guys on stage, I'm like, damn, they really kick ass.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I know Ken was there as well.
I sometimes wonder, like it's very cool when people see you, and we talked about tonight, expecting one thing and you flip the switch and you give them another one, right? That's very cool. But at the same time, I also wonder, how many people are not giving us that shot, not sticking around, to wait to give you that shot. So it's which way do you really want it? I still prefer giving them what they're not expecting, right? Going out there and how guitar players are in the bar with a band, they all stand in the back and they're like this, and making, people's eyes open like that. So I appreciate that, Angel. I don't hear that. Can't hear that story enough times. All right.
And Ken, we were like, damn, these guys kick ass. We were watching you guys on the screen, and we're like, man, they're really kicking ass on stage.
I met Ken for the first time that night too. I met all you cool cats backstage.
Mm-hmm.
Ken actually did our shirts.
Yes.
Phoenix Customs.
Phoenix Customs.
Shout out.
And he's doing.
All right, wait. I'm reading chat, and I see Chuck McFarland said, "Should Christian rock be outlawed?" So maybe that was about our Striper conversation, right?
Yeah.
Typically, I would say yes, but Striper never outlaw Striper.
Oh,
Let me ask a question. If I click on chat, is it going to take me out of here?
Click on comments. Oh, you're on the phone, so your look is different than mine.
All right. Now I can see the comments coming up.
Alex is just making fun of you. All right, there you go.
He's out. Alex is out in the truck right now. He works for New Jersey State for like PennDOT. Oh. So like anytime it's gonna possibly snow or whatever, this time of year he works like 80 hours, 90 hours a week. So
possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know about this Chuck guy. He's ripping my Striper again. That's all right, Chuck. I still love you.
And our boy Stefan is getting ready to get married in a couple weeks. So
right on.
He's out doing a bunch of that stuff tonight, I'm sure.
I just ordered my my dress wear because we're the band's in the wedding party.
Nice.
And my mom's a photographer and she's doing the wedding for him, so it should be fun.
Who's doing the bachelor party?
I don't know. That's Saturday night somewhere. Although according to Stefan, he don't know.
Phones,
I can't drop any of that information on this.
No wedding crashing.
It involves ping pong balls, and we'll just leave it at that.
I'll text you later.
When it comes to now working on the next record, are you guys like comparing to what I guess my question is, working on the next record, are you guys looking back at the first record and kind of trying to, what the hell am I trying to say?
I know what you're saying.
I know what you're saying, and it's a good question.
And jump in there.
Yeah, before you do, Mick, I'll just say that I don't think we look at having to make a change just for the sake of making a change, just to come out and say, okay, that we did this time, let's do this time. If it happens, it happens naturally. So that's kind of my take on it. I will say that I much prefer that Mickey and Alec, that's the ingredients that worked the first time. It's the ingredients that got me interested. And so I'm all for keeping the process that way. In terms of what comes out of it, Mickey, you probably pick it up from here in terms of what you look for that.
Yeah. Again, I'm going to go right back to what I was talking about earlier. We just want to write good songs, like, so whatever we write, you know what I mean? It's not like we're taking this album in a different direction, or we're trying to do, like, there's certain bands that will actually try to do things. Let's say Avenged Sevenfold, when they got that one album with Hail to the King on it, right? And it was like it was paying homage to the Black Album. You know what I mean? You could hear the production and the way the drummer was playing, as opposed to how Avenged Sevenfold usually sounded. You know what I mean? And they were trying to do that in the spirit of that, and that's cool. I think a lot of the songs that we've been writing, what's Alex saying here? All right.
Yeah,
So,
it starts with the riff.
Yeah, like, you could, us as musicians, of course, you're always looking to like do something fresher than what you've done. You know what I mean? But like, again, we have songs that are kind of all over the board in this. We have some that are poppy. We have some that are heavy. Like some that are just more melodic. Some that are heavier. But we're not looking at the old album and going like, the only thing that we're looking back at is saying we have to write at least as good or better. Like, we don't want any filler songs on any of our albums. We just want to write good songs. And if that means that we're just going to like release singles instead of like a full length album, so be it. We just want to make sure each song that we put out kicks ass.
I mean,
But-
I would look at a band like AC/DC. Every one of their records sounds the same, and they're all freaking awesome. So how important is it to have to make dramatic, changes that way? If that's what your purpose is to do, well, then that's fine. So I'm good either way, But like Mickey said, I just think, just play me something, and if it's a good song, it's a good song. If it's different than what we used to do, and there's one like Mickey's written 2 songs that clock in under 3 minutes now, which is just stunning to me. Like oh my God, a 2-minute 95-second song, but it does what it needs to do. Get in, get out. It makes its point. So
those kind of
maybe
songs,
maybe it'll just be shorter. The album will just be shorter. All right, that's all.
Those kind of songs, both of those songs that he's speaking of, that Alex and I put together. Well, actually, yeah. So the one's called So Hollow, and I think you're actually referring to Say Goodbye.
Yes.
Another short one. Both
Yep.
those songs are completely different. One is extremely more glammy poppy, and the other one's like a lot more like 80s heavy. But what they both have is what's called replayability. So when you have a song that's 3 minutes or less, people get done hearing it and they want to actually hear it again immediately, because it's stuck in their head, but we didn't give them long enough. So they want to keep playing it over and over. So that in the industry is called replayability. And so we're putting a couple of those songs out. And we were sound checking and we played that song. And John Tidwell came up to me after our sound check and goes, "That fucking song needs to be on the radio right now." He goes, "I need to hear it again." And I said, "Yeah, that was the point." So.
Is there do you guys have a timeline or pressure on yourselves to put this record out this year?
Yeah, if it don't happen by tomorrow, I mean, I just got other things to do.
No.
No, you know what?
I think we're going to be going more of the route of recording 2 at a time, dropping a single, and then having something to back it up with while we're back in the studio. I think if we wait for a full length album, it could be a while, and we want to get some new music out to people. And I don't think also that people's attention spans are that long anymore. You know what I mean? People like singles. They like something they can just grab up right now. So, might go that route. Doesn't mean we won't put out a full length once they're all done.
All right. I know some bands do that. They will put out a couple of singles and then just drop the album.
Yeah. What do you think, Johnny?
I love the single release because I think, for a band that doesn't do as much shows as we do, it's still a way to communicate with people about, what's been going on with us and keeping in touch with it. So I'm all for that particular. And honestly, I mean, it's funny. We released our first CD, and I got a copy from my younger daughter, my 21-year-old daughter, right? And I'm so effing happy about it. And I give it to her, and she's like, "What am I gonna play it in?
Yeah.
I got no, I got nothing to play it in." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So I ended up emailing her the songs digitally so she could add them to her Spotify account, and go that way. But I mean, I'm old school. Like 80s metal was my life. I was 13 years old. 83, 84, 85, 86, greatest time in music for me. And all my influences are based on that hair metal, speed metal, time. Mickey D from King Diamond's my hero. Merciful Fate, love them guy. But then Rat, Doc, all those stuff. So, which is another reason why their music appealed to me. So CDs, I mean, I had cassette. I have 8-tracks sitting over there. 8-tracks, and CDs, and it's just shocking to me. I give my kid a CD, and she hasn't even opened it. It's still got the shrink wrap on it. I'm like, okay, So releasing them that way. And we release it on Spotify and all the streaming platforms. And that's the way majority of people get their music nowadays. But as I showed you earlier, my 4,000 movie, I got to have hard copies, man. There's something different about having a hard copy than there is having it in the cloud. And that's just always, I'm probably showing my age here, but that's just always appealed to me.
Yeah, I forgot what the next question was. Had it. Let me kick it back up to you, Jay.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Yeah, I see one of the comments that Chuck put in. Yeah, when it comes to playing music on the show, we're usually good for that as long as we know it's the music of the artist that's on the show. We've even played really small clips just to enhance like a point and been like instantly muted by YouTube. So like as long as we know that the music is registered and trademarked by the band we're interviewing, yeah, Chuck, we usually don't have a problem playing music when it comes to the band, and we've had artists play live on the show before. So as long as it's not copyrighted to somebody else, we're usually good to go there.
It's funny. We made a clip, an advertising clip for something, and we put our own song behind it, and we got a copyright infringement, for our own thing. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? But if anyway, and Chuck, if you're interested, aswebecomeghost.com, I believe I have the whole album streaming there on the front page, so you can pretty much grab the songs from there. They're on Spotify, they're on YouTube. As We Become Ghosts, you just search it out there. They're out there.
Yeah.
When it comes to As We Become Ghosts, you were talking about that you guys only play a certain amount of times a year. You guys like it that way. It kind of works for your style and your system. But how do you kind of look at the design of your guys's playing or touring schedule? Like I'm kind of like for you guys or any of the fans that are watching that are like maybe you're like wrestling fans, for example, when you take somebody like from back in the day, like Andre the Giant, who you didn't see on a regularity because it was an experience to see him, he was a spectacle. So he only would pop up at these particular times. Do you guys like that certain amount of anonymity when it comes to As We Become Ghosts, only performing so often as opposed to really oversaturating a market?
I love that idea. As a diehard Kiss nut swinger, which got me into music, Kiss in 76 to 7, that whole mystical thing about them, now, some of their social media posts make me cringe. Like I don't need to know that much about them, now. Like I kind of thought it was cooler when they did have that mystique in the thing. I actually think social media kills a lot of bands in the sense that they put things out there that maybe doesn't necessarily have to be out there, and half the people automatically don't like them. So I definitely like, it's a real fine line between that mysteriousness and people forgetting that you're actually out there and what you're doing, or if you're still behind, the scene. The big reason that we try and limit our shows so much is because we want to be fair to places that we're playing in terms of being able to draw for them and not expect them to, if we're playing a week before 2 blocks down the road, or, after that, so a lot of it is to maximize draw at some places, and just to focus on shows that are meaningful to us. Like, kind of want to stay away from the 5 bands on one stage, because that's hectic. That can be a stressful show, and all the original bands that have done that would probably agree with me and say, you got the 15-minute changeovers, bang, 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 bang. That can lead to an unenjoyable experience sometimes, especially for me, because I'm high anxiety person. I need to have chill time. So being able to control our shows and set them up ourselves and bring in a couple openers that we like, I just think it makes everybody more at ease and puts us in a more comfortable, position to do that.
Like Johnny was saying, like, that is really the biggest reason. It was to maximize draw. So you got to think about it. Like, if you get a bunch of people to come out and support you at a show, and you're like, thanks for coming out, can you come out next Friday? We're playing in Philly. They're going to be like, no, I can't. Like, my kid got soccer practice, and like, I got work, and I just seen you. If you ask your loyal fans to see you once every like 3 or 4 months, they're like, absolutely, I can do that. You know what I mean? So I want to boast for just a minute, like that model, we kind of put that model together, and it's about not oversaturating, right? And all that. We put that model together, and it really started working for us. So we decided we were just going to put on our own shows, right? So we would go to a place like the Union Firehouse in Mount Holly, and we'd say, like, we want to come in and we want to do a headline show, blah, blah, blah. What are we going to get? 80% of the door. Okay, great. That's great. What freaking local, original band makes that kind of money? Normally nobody. So it's not really about the money, but hey, it sure is a treat to get paid at the end of it all, right?
Yeah.
So what we really want is to play in front of a lot of people. So that's what we started doing. We would sell our tickets to these shows. We would get 2 bands to open up for us. We would say, you guys get 80% of your ticket sales as well. So everybody's going to make money, and we're going to play to a sold out crowd, right? And we manifested it, and we did it, right? We had like 250 people, I think it was, at the Union Firehouse, right? We sold a shit ton of tickets, and we had a big draw. We lost about 50 people who had already purchased tickets because they announced
Eagles
3 days before the show that the Eagles were going to do a playoff that night at 8:30. So we lost a bunch of people, faces in the crowd, maybe 40 to 50 people. We had their ticket sales, but we'd rather see their faces, right? But we still had over 200 people in that crowd.
They did win the game, though. So
yeah, that's right. We won that game. So what I'm getting at with that is, like, we're able to do that. Then, like, we played like a little place called the Berlin Brewery around here, right? 100 people in that place are like soup to nuts, like shoulder to shoulder. So we said, we'll sell 80 tickets, you know what I mean? And then like some stragglers can come through the door. We sold those 80 tickets in like a week and a half, and the place was mocked. That's really fun to us to be able to do a show like that, invite a couple other bands that are going to like perform and have a great time to a big crowd. It's just the way we prefer to do it. It's very hard to sell venue tickets when they're only sold online and all this kind of stuff. We have a pretty loyal fan base, and then we're just trying to work that base out a little bit further.
Yeah. with a
And-
with a model like that that works very well, to having a full house and having people excited to like see you guys. Have you guys ever come across any situations where, you know, you've committed this show, you know, and it's, you know, it's sold out or really full and you're doing great when it comes to that, and then having like an offer where like maybe 2 weeks later, like a national act comes through, like whether it be a George Lynch or a Bullet Boys or just something like that, and get offered that gig? Do you ever, you know, where probably the majority of bands would be like, well, fuck yeah, absolutely, it's George Lynch, where you guys maybe have a slight hesitation due to the fact that you did just play and you like a little bit of space between your shows?
Well,
If it's the right, and we've actually talked about this scenario, you know, when we map out a year, we're like, okay, you know, we'll plan our next show, or, you know, we're going to do the Landis, which we love doing because it's just great production, everything, and then we're going to plan our next show. But we always say, you know, if something pops up, you know, like we had a pop-up opportunity to play with Tease and Heaven's Edge at
Oh,
Artie's,
sure.
and we took that show because
that actually wasn't a pop-up. That
Right,
wasn't a
but-
pop-up,
but-
but go ahead. Yeah, let's
but
go ahead with that.
we took that show because that was a great show for us in terms of the music and stuff like that. And not only that, I mean, I grew up on those bands. You know, I was at the Empire for Tease. I was at the Empire for Heaven's Edge. So to be able to do a show with them was super, super cool. So I would not say, you know, we would not automatically shoot something down like that if it was the right fit. And George Lynch, hell yeah. I mean, come on, I'm there. And
I
Chuck
love-
Striper comes in. Chuck, I'm taking that Striper show, just so you know.
I love my Tease t-shirt, my Maniacs of Rock t-shirt.
I have
Yeah.
the original cassette with the shredded closes, like the original, you know, Tease cassette, one of the first releases.
Oh, nice.
It's very
So,
cool.
You know, there's a whole other aspect to all this, and you know, I delve into these kind of situations lightly and don't mention names because I don't want to offend anybody, you know. But like, playing gigs is a business.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we rehearse, man, I love these guys to death, and like I have just a blast coming in, rehearsing, writing, recording, and being with this tribe, you know. But when it comes to the actual act of playing a show with a promoter or a venue owner, it's a business, you know, and it's a tough business. And that business has got like shittier and shittier and shittier over the years, first of all. And there's way less venues to do that at, right?
Yeah.
So it's very hard when you're doing very well for a promoter, you know, and you've already done 3 or 4 shows where you've brought many, many people, right? More than the headliners, even, to some of those ticket sales. And then you're like, hey, since we've done so well for you 3 or 4 times, can you give us a shot in front of a major act that you know is going to have a crowd, so we can get further away from our base and start gaining a crowd there, like they did in the old days. Like when you played the Empire Rock Club or the Galaxy or certain venues in our area, you know, like there was always people there because that's what people did before the internet and like, you know, and like Netflix and chill, right? People used to go to these places Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every week. And that's where they'd be every night. So you played in front of them and you gained a following. It's not like that anymore. You need to bring a following to these clubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very hard. So when you ask a promoter, hey, man, can you put us in front of somebody since we've done you 3 or 4 solids, you know? And it's hard, man, to get that gig. So then, you know, we were offered a gig, opening up for a very big major. I won't give any names or I won't even give any places. But we turned the gig down. And we said we'd rather play with the Heaven's Edge and Tease gig because they're all locals and Sick Vicky. Like these are all people that we've all played with and we're part of that local scene. We'd rather play with them. The reason we turned down the big gig is because they were asking us to sell 75 tickets at $35 a piece, guaranteed. And it's really like a couple hours away from our home. You know,
Right.
We've brought 50 or 60 people at least to that Heaven's Edge show at that same place, right?
Mhm.
So, like, we brought a shit ton of people, but we just wanted the opportunity to play in front of somebody where we could win over their crowd. We had that opportunity, which was a pop-up, to open up for Nazareth at the Landis 11 days before that gig went off. We got the opportunity to go open up for them. And in that short period of time, I think we brought about 25, 30 ticket sales. But, you know, what the biggest part was is us getting to open up, you know, for Nazareth. And when we got done, a lot of people in that crowd said, yo, man, I'm already on your guys' social media right now. You guys really rocked. And that's what it's all about, you know, like opening up for those nationals. But if it's something that the club owner or the promoter is like, do you want this great gig? This is what it's going to take to do it. And we go, well, we're playing 2 or 3 weeks before that. It wouldn't be a smart business move on any of our parts. We wouldn't be doing the promoter any favors. We wouldn't be doing ourselves any favors, you know? So that's where it comes into, like, it's still a business, and you got to be very, very careful about taking, you know, that many gigs or this or that. That's why this model works for us.
For sure. It's actually kind of funny that you put it that way, but also something that also Angel and I can relate with as well. One story that I have, like, this was years ago, but I had some friends that were, opening up for a band, an 80s band that's great with such an amazing catalog. And they were playing a smaller venue. They were down to like one original member, and the band, though, was still solid, awesome, fantastic. And the tickets for that show were like $35 from the promoter. And my friends who were opening, usually there's like, you can sell your tickets at a bit of a discount, but the promoter was saying like, you got to sell them at like 30. And they were like, wait, huh? Because usually it's like, well, if the tickets at the door or whatever are going to be 30, 35 bucks, you can sell them leading up for like 20. This was only like a $5 discount. And the crazy thing about it was they were like, wait, these guys came back through Baltimore, not like a few years ago, when a main member of the band, who had since passed on, was with the band. They played a bigger, better venue with cheaper tickets and didn't sell that one out. It was, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a stinker of a show. It still had a great crowd. But the point is, cheaper ticket, better venue still wasn't a sellout. Right. It's like, wait, but this venue, you're looking to do $35 for tickets. And it made it actually such a struggle for, you know, Ron's band to sell tickets.
Right.
Because the fans themselves that normally would be like, oh, well, I want to come out and support you because I'm a fan of your band and you're opening for these guys. Sweet. I'll take 2. What does that come out to? Comes out to 60. And then they're like, oh, wait, it's what now? And it really does kind of halt people in their tracks. But the other thing, too, that Angel and I can relate with that I really loved about what you were just talking about is he and I have been very fortunate, very blessed that there's like some like labels and stuff that represent a lot of great bands that really love the show and love to send us their bands. And we are happy to have them. And as that same kind of business model, we do that same kind of thing where we have had conversations with ourselves where it's like, look, these bands are cool and we like them, but they've got this person on their roster. They've got this person on their roster. They've got this person. I want to talk to them where, look, if they're sending me 10 straight of their kind of like second tier, like younger bands that are trying to get a boost to, dude, I am all for that. I really am. And I support the cause, but then I'm going to come a calling for this band of
absolutely.
And then
you a bone.
Yep. And then you can send me 10 more of your bands that you're looking to get a push. Cool. But then I'm going to ask for this band.
Right.
And then you can send me 5 more of your bands, but then I'm going to ask for like your heavy hitter because I'm like, look, man, I've interviewed almost 30 of your young guns. I want your main guy that's going to get us a lot of views and a lot of attention, and we're going to keep it professional and it's going to be great, but we deserve that guy or that girl or that band. So I totally get where you're coming from on that.
Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, we opened up for a major band, right? And we brought like 95 ticket sales to that, right? And maybe a couple stragglers to the door. So close to 100 ticket sales. there might have been 140, 150 people in that crowd between the headliner, two other openers, and us. You know,
Right.
like that's the kind of stuff we were doing for like this guy. And it's like we just, you know, you just, if you're doing that well for somebody, you just feel like you should be able to get a little further along. You know what I mean? It's a tough business, man. It's tough business. You know, and this guy's a good guy, man. I'm like, you know, it's a business, man. It's a business.
Absolutely. No, 100% it is. Angel, let's kick it back up to you for a little bit, my friend. But also at the same time, guys, Metal Summoners, you know, as we become Ghost fans, we want to be incredibly respectful of their time. Johnny and Mickey have been absolutely gracious. We're going to rock out with them a little bit longer, but we also do want to respect their evening, respect their commitments and their families as well. So it is going to be last call for alcohol. Any final questions, comments, anything you want to ask the guys? Don't be shy. Pump them into the comments. We always clear the board, but it is that time to keep in mind that if you want your voices heard, make sure that you get those comments in there.
Hey, this is related to horror movies. How do you feel about
John? It's all you.
How do you feel about The Lost Boys being a musical?
Blasphemy should not happen.
Yeah.
I have an issue with reboots of some of these classic movies in whatever way, shape, or form.
Angel, you caused this. We're about to have a debate, but I'm going to let Johnny.
We have different views on this one. Is this it? It's I will not watch.
Well, similar view, but being that this is Lost Boys, you'll see what I mean.
Okay, unless you're going to bring the saxophone guy back from the one of the very first scenes in the thing, then maybe I'll buy it on that. But I'm sorry, Lost Boys is a staple in my movie collection. It is a classic. It is something in my eyes you just don't fuck with, and I don't need to see it converted into a musical. You know, I didn't need to see Ghostbusters remade. I didn't need to see, you know, I was just talking with Mickey about Beetlejuice 2. You know, I mean, some things they just don't leave them. You know, they're well enough as they are. They're classics. So that's kind of my fear on that, right? Other than Godfather 2, nothing's really gotten.
No, that
better.
Should be a musical.
Right, nothing's really gotten better on its second run through. And as a movie collector, you know this. If they make 5 parts of a movie, I have to have all 5 of them, right? Even if I can't stand parts 2, 3, 4, and 5, because I gotta add. I mean, look, all the Worm movies, original Kevin Bacon, Worm Underground, Tremors. Okay, all the Tremors. I have all the Tremors, right? The box set. But then they just released Tremors 7, right? So now I got to go out and buy Tremors 7, and we know it sucks, right? You can tell that it sucks. You look at, but I have to have it.
Yep.
So if they put it out as a musical, I'm gonna have a copy of it in my collection somewhere to go right next to the original one.
Well,
not a fan, though. But go ahead, because I can't wait to hear what you're gonna say.
So here's the thing. Just for the record, I liked the second Beetlejuice. I thought it was very well done. I thought they stayed in their lane, and I really enjoyed it personally. Here's the thing. When it comes to Lost Boys, I ride or die by that. I'm a lunatic vampire person. The vampires in general are a very big part of my life, and I love the Lost Boys. I'm very excited for the fact that V. Neal, who did the makeup for both Beetlejuice and the Lost Boys, is going to be at a horror convention I'm getting ready to go to. So I'm really excited that she's going to get her to sign my poster. So
rad.
But here's the thing. Yes, there's going to be a Lost Boys musical, but it's not a movie. It's being done actually by G. Tom Mack. So the guy, we would not have Cry Little Sister without G. Tom Mack. And they just brought on, like, from what I hear, like a Tony Award winning, director or something to be at the helm
of the
Lost Boys musical. So
now I'm interested.
Yeah. So that's my thing. Like, I haven't seen the Beetlejuice musical, but judging by what I've heard, the reception and so on, because the people that it seems like the people at the helm know what they're doing. I'm cool with that. Lost Boys itself, insanely enough, is actually already a film trilogy that people forget about.
I have the other ones.
Yes.
With Froggy, and I have all three of them. So
Yep.
but that confirms my point, because they're garbage. Fallout ones are garbage. They can't touch anything like that. But I do own them.
Yeah. So I definitely get it on that. The Tribe one, it was less damaging. I enjoy it okay. The Thirst one, where they're trying to make it about like party drugs and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, why? But yeah, but with it being like a musical, with it being a thing, I'm okay with that. But because it looks like it's where it needs to be as a musical, not a musical, not a musical film. So
I still think, I just think some things are just better left untouched. Like, what did I do? I was just talking to my wife about, they're making a part 2 of something 25. I think they're doing a Spinal Tap. They're finally getting around doing a final up on Spinal. That might actually be pretty cool. There was just another movie. They're 25 years later. They're making it. All right, brain fart. It'll come to me after we hang up. But again, every time I hear that, I'm just like, just the first one was just like perfect. That there's like some horror series that I think are good with some of their multiple follow-ups. I thought Hellraiser had some solid follow-ups, some clunkers going in there. I'll dig the Hellraiser series. The Saw movies, I love the Saw movies.
Yeah.
But I love the way that they're all interconnected, and you don't find that you find out about that on each different. So that's unique. So I don't have much of a beef about all the sequels on there, but
Megan and I are going to meet Tobin Bell next month. We're really stoked.
That's cool. That's very cool. Yeah. So it's not sequels I have a problem with. I guess it's remakes of classic movies that they're throwing out. Now, Beetlejuice 2, I will agree with you. It wasn't horrible. And if Mickey, you remember, I said to you, I said I didn't think it was horrible. I love that they maintain the characters. That's my biggest beef. Maintain the characters. Don't have some. But there was just some things going on in that movie that just served no point to the plot whatsoever. And the cartoony part of it, the acid tripping part, what I call the One Crazy Summer sketches that could go in there, like that didn't work for me. I don't feel that it belonged in there.
It worked for me simply because I knew they were looking for a way to get Jeff involved in the movie without obviously having to pay him because of his history, which again, I understand and I support, like, absolutely. Like, I kind of liked it. I thought it was unique, and it kind of worked because, again, you've got Michael Keaton and Beetlejuice, and the way he makes faces or different types of reactions. The fact that, Monica Bellucci was a soul sucker and kept turning everybody into a fruit roll up. Like, I mean,
and she's incredibly hot too, but we don't have to get into that here.
Look, I would have totally, instead of doing the cartoon, I would have got a fucking doppelganger, right? Just like they did in Back to the Future 2 with Marty McFly,
right?
With the dad, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the dad sued him over that. He was furious. They just basically wrote him out of the movie and then molded some clay on some dude's face and said, "Oh, here's the dad." That was a hot
Did they
thing.
write him out of that, or did he write himself out of that?
There's some debate. Literally, he took him to court over it. He wanted more money. He wanted more money, right? So they wouldn't give it to him, so he didn't do it. So they just
Who's giving Crispin Glover more money? Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, I did. It was clever though when it came to Beetlejuice 2 that they did use for the scene on the tombstone that actually was Jeff's face, that they used recycled footage from the original movie. So they didn't have to pay him, but we're still able to use him. So I was like, you know what? Tim's not a stupid guy. He definitely gets it. Right back to you, Angel, because if we steer too deep into horror movies, dude, it'll
go badly.
Oh, sorry, my voice.
Yeah,
Check
no worries.
you.
I got you, man. No worries. So, Mickey, Johnny, when it comes to what you're looking at for this year, between working on the new album and the select shows you're looking to do for the betterment of the band, what are you overall looking to accomplish in 2025?
So, it's never been an expectation or reality for me particularly at my age, to be like, all right, I'm gonna be a rock star now. I'm gonna get signed, and that's what I'm gonna do for a living. Um, what I want to do is produce music that makes me happy, makes me proud, that I can share with my friends and family. And if something was to come out of it, that's all the more, you know. And I think, nobody. I would love to do like a 2 or 3 week tour, contained on an East Coast, or something like that, because I never really had that experience, or I haven't had it probably since I was 18, and first did something like that. So maybe, experience a little bit more of the more professional touring side of it, if for ever so briefly. you know it's like, it's a tale of two lives for me, where I have I love metal, I love music, I love rock and roll, but at the same time I actually have a professional career. So it's a weird balance. Luckily, I have a job though where something like that was to happen, I could continue to do both. Primarily, I want to write more good songs. I want to write songs that I heard when I first got introduced to the band. I want to hear more of Alex's, you know, leads and songs within a song, as Mickey says it. And I want to be able to put my stuff behind it. I want something that I can pass on to my kids and say, this was your dad's life, right? In whatever form that is, you know. But here it is. That's why my movie collection is so important to me. I tell my kids all the time, that's your father's life there. Every one of those movies I have is a memory of a time in my life, that I have it for a reason. So you ever really want to know what your old man's about, just go down. It'll probably take you about 18 years, but go down and watch them all, because they're coming to you. I'm willing these to my kids. I don't know what the hell they're going to do with them. My parents said to me one time, how much you think you spend on these? And I'm sitting here thinking, I got 4,000. Even if they were all $5 movies, right? Even if they were all $5 movies, that's $20,000,
Right.
right? But more than half of them are like new release Tuesdays, the 2020. And then when 4K came out, I got to get 4K versions now. You got to upgrade this or the box set. So I don't know how I ended up getting sidetracked on this. But the thing is I want, I want to work with these guys. I enjoy working with these guys. I want to put the music out there, however quickly or slowly that it comes. And I just want us to continue to dictate it our own way, and not get trapped into some of the cyclical business stuff. I would say that's what my goal for 2025 is.
Exactly. Same thing here. All that business crap aside, man, that's the shit that just brings it down. We just want to write good music, create content, enjoy some time together, maybe share that with like some, select people along the way, and leave something behind that'll be here like long after us. When you write a good song, you're like, you can listen to it. And there's like 4 chords in rock and roll, they say, right? But how many different variations of those 4 chords, and how many, like, when you write a song and you're sitting back and you're listening to it, every once in a while I go like, why aren't we further along or whatever, and I start getting down about, whatever, feeling some sort of way. Johnny will say, yo, go listen to the CD, man. And I'll go listen to the CD, and I'm like,
say that a lot.
They are really good, man. Like it re-inspires, and you think about one of those songs, you go, out of hundreds and hundreds of millions of songs that have been created, not one of them is like this one, And like, it's not. It might have some influence of another song, or somebody go, that might remind me of this a little bit or whatever, but it's still not that. It's still the only one of its kind. And that's pretty amazing that we can write something like that, record it, and give it to the world. And long after we're gone, it'll still be there around somewhere, if somebody can find a CD player at least.
And it's just pretty badass to be rolling your truck down 95, blaring your As You We Become Ghost CD on like 40, even if I'm the only person hearing it. And because that's what I'll say to them. I'll be like, just if you haven't popped in the CD in a couple of weeks, man, you just pop it in, because it brings you back to why you do it, and again, it goes back to what I said at the very beginning. If I was not in this band, I would be a fan of this band. It's
Absolutely.
good songs. It's good songs. Good
For
people.
sure.
Good songs.
We got a couple of questions from Front Row Promotions for you guys real quick that I'm going to combine into one. And they'd like to know, what do you like the most about being a musician, and who would you like to collaborate with?
Johnny, go ahead.
What was the first one?
What do you like the most about being a musician? And then the second question was, who would you like to collaborate with?
What I like most about being a musician is that I've always liked to do things that kind of made me stand out from the average Joe, whether that's tattoos, piercings, braided beards, and the musician thing just adds to that. Like, I'll say my mother was a musician, and the musicians that I know, and I'll be like, not everybody can do what you do. You do something that's pretty unique, like an athlete, right? Not many people can do that. So I honestly believe that every person has a talent. Every person has some unique talent, whatever that is, and some might not have found it yet. But I think for me, it's the fact that I'm able to do something that not everybody can do. So it makes me feel a little bit differently. And, let's be honest here. I got into music and drums when I was 15, to get a date. I was, I was dateless up to that point. So, there's so much that comes out of it. A true musician, you can spot them a mile away. What makes them tick. We're really all not much different from each other. But I really like. Or wait, what's the joke? What was it? What do I like about being a drummer, or what I like being about a musician? Right? Because apparently they're not the same thing. But I drums are without a doubt the coolest instrument. Come on, let's face it. They're just the most work, right? Could have been a singer and strolled into a gig with a microphone, but no, I had to, I had to play drums. I like the uniqueness of it. I like the fact that what I do will make somebody's foot bounce up and down, right? It will make somebody's heart flutter when it's being kicked through a PA system where the low end just punches you in the chest. It'll elicit emotion in ways that are positive, So that's what I enjoy about it. And I also enjoy that being a math guy, math and music are so very closely tied together, and it helps me about that.
Yeah.
Mick, you get the second one. What was the second part of that?
Who would you like to collaborate with?
I got to tell you what I like best about me being a musician, or what was the exact question?
Oh yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, it was two questions from Front Row. The first question was, what do you like the most about being a musician? And then her follow-up question was, who would you like to collaborate with?
Gotcha. So the best thing I like about being a musician is exactly what we've been talking about, is the journey to create the perfect song. You know what I mean? It's like, as an artist, I want to make people feel, right? So I write a song lyrically. John Tidwell from Whiskey Grin said, "Your lyrics are poignant." I had to look up the word poignant, but when I did, he was right. You know, I want to evoke emotion and feel, right? And whatever that feel is, I could write something about one thing and you could think it's about something completely different, whatever it speaks to you about, right? Is writing it generic enough and where it's not so black and white, right? So creating these things, like I'm an artist, right? So it's like painting with words at this point, or painting with chords, and like eliciting an emotion from somebody, whether you're making them feel melancholy, sad, happy, energetic, inspired. That's what I like best about it, right? And who I'd like to collaborate with, as a matter of fact, like normally people would just pick like somebody that they really, really loved, like who was like super huge, or or it was an inspiration in their world. I would like to collaborate with like a lot of local artists, right? And like create some really cool shit in the local scene, man. Because like I don't know, like I just think that that would be a really cool thing to do, is start collaborating with like other bands that are doing the same thing we are, and just just making the scene come to life in a different way. I have this idea where I want to take 3 or 4 bands that are local, right, and put our names in a hat and pick it, and then we have to do one of their songs.
It's a great
Like
idea. It's a great idea.
recreate their song, right, and pick like 4 bands and just take one of their favorite songs that we like from the local band and do it. Locals covering locals, man. Like that's cool. There's
I know that stuff like that was becoming pretty popular, especially in like the old like punk days, where like a lot of those bands would do like these little split 7 inches, where it would be 2 bands, and they would do that. They would cover the one of the other band's
that's
songs.
cool.
And I always think that stuff's rad.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was a thing, but yeah, I would totally love it. But like not covering Shinedown songs. I want to cover, like a Whiskey Grin tune or a Rat Rod or whoever from the area. You know what I mean? I want to
Totally.
I want to do one of their songs and do it the way we want to do it. I think that would be super fun.
Absolutely, for sure. Angel, I know your voice has been a little bit tricky today, man. Do you want to call out these last couple of questions before we let the guys go for the evening?
Oh yeah, this is a good final question. Can you share an interesting fact about yourself that nobody knows?
An interesting fact that nobody knows.
Well, they're about to know.
I don't know. How about you, Johnny?
Well, I mean, I dropped a couple of them along the way. I'm an obsessive movie collector. I also collect travel spoons, and I never travel. I have all, the little souvenir spoons. I got them displayed in cases and stuff like that. And I'm a math nerd. I'm a math teacher. Nothing really unique. Oh, go Birds! I'm a diehard sports fan, right? Mickey's wife tattooed me today with my Eagles tattoo. So I love tattoos. I guess everybody knows that about me. I think the one thing is that I'm a brutally honest, pretty straight up guy to a fault. Probably, too honest. But I think the thing that I think once people get to know me, that's when I guess they learn things about me that no one knows about. I'm very private. If you're in my circle, it's you're there for a reason, and you're one of the few. I don't have a huge circle.
Well, I'll just have to give you the only one that most people don't know about me, because the question is about what people don't know about me. Because I am an open book, man. If you know me, you know pretty much everything about me, or what I like or what I don't like, or what I do for a living, or so on and so forth. So the one fact that not many people actually know is my real name is Jeff Gordon.
I didn't know if you're going to drop that one. I didn't know that.
I got to give him the only one.
And I'll tell you, the way that I knew that, I joined a band, and Mickey emails me a copy of something that we had just worked on, and it comes from this Jeff Gordon character, and I'm like, who the fuck is Jeff Gordon? Like, seriously, who's Jeff Gordon? You go from Mickey Rat, total badass name, right? Mickey Rat, to Jeff Gordon.
NASCAR driver.
Yeah. You don't even look like a Jeff, Mick. Like, you don't look like a Jeff.
Exactly. That's why you call me Mickey.
Yeah.
It's a secret identity.
Yeah.
Nice, man. That's awesome. Angel, is there anything final from yourself this evening, my friend?
Man, just I appreciate the time. Thank you guys for coming on the show. Definitely inviting you guys to come back when the record comes out.
Okay. Sounds good.
Absolutely. You guys are always welcome. Before we let you go this evening, can you plug your socials? Let everybody know where As We Become Ghosts can be found.
Johnny.
All right. So you got aswebecomeghost.com. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Music. See, this is where we need Alex, because Alex knows the Linktree. Is it Linktree?
Linktree.
If he looks up on Linktree, all of our links are piled underneath that. But the main way, go to aswebecomeghost.com. You can access our YouTube channel through there, our Spotify through there. Our songs are streaming on through there. We have the As We Become Ghost fan page on Facebook. We have the As We Become Ghost follow page on Facebook. We all have our individual Facebook pages as well. I think that about covers our social media. We're not. Oh, we're on TikTok. We're on. And this is Alex is phenomenal at this stuff. I don't think we're on Twitter, right? I don't think we're on Twitter. I don't think many bands are on Twitter. But we're on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Just put the name in there. I think we paid extra for the Google search, right? So it sends you all the way up to the top.
Oh, right on, man, for sure. Well, Mickey, Johnny, we can't thank you guys enough again for spending some of your evening with us. Metal Summoners, Ghost fans, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. Great questions, great interactions. We really appreciate you guys rocking out and, again, supporting the bands, supporting the show, and just having a great time with us. You can find Angel at Angel Alamo 78 on Instagram. You can also find him on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram at Salem.Vampire. I'm on Facebook as well. And you can also follow our beloved Psycho Steve at The Real Psycho Steve on Instagram or PsychoStevePresents.com. Again, make sure that you're following As We Become Ghosts on all of their socials so you know when they're playing, and you'll get updates on when any new music is coming out. We really appreciate you guys. When it comes to the Metal Summit, please like and follow us on both Facebook and YouTube. That's where you're watching the interview right now. But also you can follow us on Instagram, because that's where our guest announcements come out first and foremost. But thank you so much, Metal Summoners. We love you guys. We appreciate you. We're getting final confirmations on next week's episode, and the final confirmations happen. The announcements will come out over the weekend. But you guys take care. Have a great rest of your week, and you guys have yourselves a fantastic weekend. Again, on behalf of As We Become Ghosts, myself and Angel, thank you guys so much. Take care. Be good to each other. We'll see you guys in a week. As always,
Thank you, guys.
You've been watching the Metal Summit.
Peace.
Absolutely, guys, and thank you, guys.